welcome to Chickie and Petes, where we're going to be talking high school football here on First and 10. Mark Narducci and Phil Anastasia. A lot going on in high school football. Of course, you have the great traditional Thanksgiving games. We've had sectional championships. Now we have regional championships that are going to take place. And of course, tonight we'll be talking to two teams that have been here before. Lenape and Shawnee, great rivalry on Thanksgiving Day. But Phil, first up, it doesn't get any better this time of year in football.
This really is the best time of the year, Mark. You know, these teams have been lifting weights since January. They've been practicing since August. And really they were pointing towards this time of the season. You know, you got your Thanksgiving game, which is your traditional game for so many teams. Playoff sectional finals last week. Regional championship games for some teams next week. Very, very exciting time of the year. It's all pointed towards these 2 weekends.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking about a lot of the big games, but before we do that, Mark Zimmaro is with players from both Lenape and Shawnee. Mark?
All right, thanks, guys. I'm here in the dining hall at Chickies and Petes with a lot of hungry football players behind me. We have Shawnee and Lenape High School here tonight, and there's almost 100 players here, which is an amazing amount. I don't know how they're packing them all in. I don't know how they're going to have enough food to feed these guys. We got a couple hungry guys I'm going to bring on right now with me. Right now, I got a couple linemen. I got Jake Silver of Lenape, senior, correct? And I got Lee Sims of Shawnee, also a senior. Guys, you haven't eaten yet, but I know you can really house some food. How much food do you think you can eat tonight?
A lot, all of it. Everything they give me, I'm going to eat it, yeah.
How about you, Lee? How much food do you think you can put down tonight?
Oh, definitely a lot. Definitely a lot. Me and my table is definitely going to pound a lot of food.
All right, so you guys have both been here twice this year. Second time for you guys. The team's coming here, so you know the deal. They got pizza tonight. There's chicken tonight. There's crab fries. I really got to know. I got two rivals standing next to me, linemen here. How much food? Like, what's your best story of eating food? How much have you put down before?
Well, me and the lineman went to PJ Wheelahan's not too long ago. Probably put down like 40 wings. Pretty easy.
Okay. Solo. All right. And what do you think you can do, Jake? What's your best story?
McDonald's has this bundle box. It's 2 Big Macs, 2 cheeseburgers, the 10-piece, and then it's 2 small or 2 medium fries. I think I put down everything but maybe a Big Mac, and it was a lot of food.
Okay. Lee, you went to a luncheon today, correct? Yep. With some Lenape guys. I mean, you got to play them this week. Was there a food fight or something going on, or like how'd that go?
There was definitely some elbows thrown at the omelet station. Definitely some cutting in line.
All right. You got to go against these guys this week. I mean, what's the feeling like here? Is there some stairs going down? Or?
Yeah, definitely a little stairs, but it's definitely joking. I was just talking over there. Definitely stairs, but all joke.
Okay. And do you guys have practice today? Was it a tough practice? You work up an appetite?
Yeah. Definitely.
How about you? Did you work up an appetite tonight?
Oh, absolutely. Definitely cut down on the eating. Make sure I save enough space for tonight.
All right. Well, that'll be it for us back here. These guys want to get their food now, so I'm not getting in their way any longer. Let's send it back to you.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. Always great to hear from the Lenape and the Shawnee football players. Phil, back to South Jersey football, a very eventful week. You were at a game that obviously got a lot of attention, unfortunately for the wrong reasons in a lot of ways. A tragedy. There was a shooting at the Camden-Pleasantville game. They postponed it at that point. They restarted it at Lincoln Financial Field. You were there. Camden beating Pleasantville to get to the sectional finals. How about the scene there?
You know, Mark, it was really one of the stranger scenes I've ever been a part of. Stranger, more surreal games that I've ever covered. You know, on one hand, you really had this pall over the game. You know, we had learned that day that the young boy Micah Tennant had died, the 10-year-old. So on the one hand, you have that sadness that really kind of overshadowed everything. And on the other hand, you had this sort of exciting moment for these young men, you know, the opportunity to play in an NFL stadium. They were in the locker room. They had their names on the lockers, and they came out on the field for fireworks and smoke. And so there was kind of a strange juxtaposition there. You know, obviously it was a game of significance from one standpoint because it was a chance to advance in the playoffs. On the other hand, it was a game that had no significance if you put it in real context with what really was happening around it. So a strange scene. I salute the Eagles. I thought they really handled it well. They were great hosts to both teams, and both teams were very appreciative to be there. But it was a strange scene, and really the incident that happened at Pleasantville is, one of the saddest things I've ever really heard in terms of scholastic sports.
Yeah, and if I could say, Phil, you did a great job at Inquirer.com. If people haven't seen that story, very, very well done. You talked about the Eagles. I saw them greeting the players and all that. Real nice job by the Eagles organization.
No question. It wasn't just a case of them opening up the link.
Yeah.
They really went out of their way to make the teams feel welcome. Like I said, Doug Peterson and a lot of top players, Malcolm Jenkins, Carson Wentz, Zach Ertz, Brandon Graham came out and greeted the players, posed for pictures. And then, like I said, little touches with the players' names on their lockers, which was exciting for them, allowing them to come out on the field through the smoke and the fireworks. It was very exciting for the young men. It really was. But like I said, it was a strange scene in that the sadness, was overcast on everything. So kind of a surreal day, but no question, the Eagles did a wonderful job.
And I thought it was a nice thing that the Camden players paid tribute. Both teams, they paid tribute to the young fallen
There's
man.
no question. I mean, there was, his name, R.I.P., 10s written all over shirts and jerseys and actually on some kids' faces. So everybody was acutely aware of the situation. Yeah. The Camden team bus, in fact, on the way to the link, actually stopped in front of Cooper Hospital where the young man was and had a moment of silence before they came over the bridge. So there's no question everybody was very, very cognizant of the fact that this really was about the young man.
Yeah. Now, Camden is in the sectional final against Cedar Creek. Phil, they played a wild first game. I would expect a lot of points to be scored in this one.
Well, certainly that was the case the last time they played. And I know Camden coach Dwayne Savage was not happy at the time because he felt like his defense had let down. But, Cedar Creek is a very explosive offensive team. Louis Barrios, Malachi Melton, these guys are big-time playmakers. So, this has got a chance to be a really good game. I think it was a 1-point game.
42-41.
Right, the last time they played. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a high-scoring, close game again. And a lot on the line. These teams have a chance to win a sectional title and to advance to a regional championship game, which would be the next weekend at Rutgers.
Yeah, tough for Camden to have to beat a team twice, but this is a very talented Camden team who may have one of the best defensive players in the state.
I don't think there's any question, Mark. Tyreek Austin Cave, he was terrific. Even in a 6-minute game, or 6 minutes of the third quarter, and then a fourth quarter, about a 17-minute game at the link. Probably had 2 sacks, couple tackles for loss, just all over the field. Yeah. Tremendous athlete, but most of all, very instinctive player. Just kind of finds the ball.
Hey, Phil, we're in Marlton. We'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the Cherokee Chiefs entering the playoffs 3-5, ended up as a Central Jersey Group 5 champions by beating Kingsway. What a job after a team that won 1 game last year to win a sectional title.
Tremendous job by Brian Glatz and his staff, and obviously those players. You come off a 1-win season, you're really just trying to maybe get back to 500, try to build a little momentum going for the future. And now they're sectional championships. Tradition at Cherokee. They've won a lot of sectional titles. I don't know that they've ever won one quite as surprising and maybe as rewarding as this one was.
And they have juniors like Billy Osborne, the quarterback. This is a team that maybe's built to win more than this year.
I don't think there's any question. They're back. They're probably a year ahead of schedule, when you think about it. So, and then when you start winning and you gain that confidence, that kind of builds on itself. So, like I said, Brian Glatz really had a tough time his first year, stepped into a difficult situation. He's a Cherokee guy, so he was able to kind of weather it because he knows the tradition there. But really happy for him to see. I know how hard he and his coaches work, and the kids, very, very, very great win for them.
and they also beat a Cherokee team, Kingsway team that also overachieved, 35-18 in the sectional final. So both teams really lower seeded and got to the Central Jersey Group 5 championship. Well, still a lot more here from Chickie and Petes Marlton here on First and 10. When we come back, we'll be talking to the Shawnee Renegades, the 3-time South Jersey Group 4 champions.
Shelter dogs aren't broken. They've simply experienced more life. If they were human, we would call them wise. They would be the ones with tales to tell and stories to write. The ones dealt a bad hand who responded with courage. Do not pity a shelter dog. Adopt one.
Say we've got grit, and we'll take it as a compliment. Because it's our uncommon drive, our spark within, that brings us together and sets us apart. We are temple made. And when others take shortcuts, when others take breaks, when others take the easy way, we take charge.
Add us on social media to watch bloopers, behind-the-scenes footage, previews, and more.
I work 13 hours a day, 6 days a week. So when I'm off the clock, I gotta get stuff done. So when I need a snack, I need something healthy, tasty, and easy to eat. Like wonderful pistachios without the shells. They're protein-powered, delicious, and great on the go. And that's perfect for me. Thanks, Liz. A woman without a lot of time.
Whether you're a gourmet cook or just want to eat like one, visit Rostelli Market Fresh, your home for the freshest, locally sourced ingredients to please everyone who loves great food. Our organic meats, quality seafood, and free-range poultry are cut fresh to order. Chefs create culinary-inspired prep foods made fresh every day, which pair nicely with our vast selection of fine wines and spirits. Choose from handmade pastas, artisan cheeses, organic produce, and grocery items, all from the finest purveyors. Rostelli Market Fresh, from our family to yours.
Welcome back to Chickie and Petes Marlton. Marc Narducci, Phil Anastasia on First and 10, and we're happy to have the contingent from Shawnee. To our left tackle Alex Pfeiffer, and to my right, veteran head coach Tim Gashu. And Tim, first off, congratulations, 3 straight sectional titles. There haven't been a lot of teams in South Jersey, especially in the larger size groups, that have been able to do that.
Well, we're really proud of our athletes and happy for the school. A lot of hard work went into this, and we're just so excited for the seniors going out. You know, that was their goal, to win the 3rd in a row championship, something we've never done, and we're very, very proud of them.
Alex, you guys win a 3rd straight sectional title, something that's not done very often. How much did it mean to you guys?
Saying it meant a lot is kind of an understatement. I mean, we've been working with this. We've been joking about it since freshmen, being like, hey, we could be the first 3P in Shawnee history. And now that it's actually here, it's an amazing experience. I mean, I can't describe it.
You know, every team's a little bit different. What was it about this particular team that was special?
I definitely think the team chemistry. I mean, we play together on the field, but we're all great friends off the field. And, you know, we hang out all the time, and trust me, our locker room's a madhouse, so we like to have a lot of fun, you know.
Tim, you play in arguably the best division in South Jersey, the West Jersey American Division. You have a chance to win a share of that on Thanksgiving against Lenape, and they do too. I mean, could you ask for a better scenario?
No, we've talked about that for a long time. Joe Woods, our head coach, and I. And it is exciting that Thanksgiving Day is also for a championship. So we're excited about the opportunity. Great Lenape team, and our guys are ready to play.
You know, you have a championship in your pocket. Do you feel a little relaxed that you've gotten one already?
Well, yeah, I think you do to a degree, but knowing our opponent, we better be ready, because I know they will be.
Alex, you guys play one of the tougher schedules in all of South Jersey, and as a Group 4 team, you play up a lot against some Group 5s and non-public power in St. Augustine. How much do you think the schedule helps you guys when it comes to playoff time?
I think it definitely helps us with like seeding, power points goes, and just the competition you see here. It's just you don't get anywhere else, and I definitely feel like it's why we're a 3-2 team.
Now you got a game coming up against Lenape, obviously a school district rival, and a division title on the line. How much are you guys looking forward to that battle?
I mean, Lenape, they're our biggest rival, I think, football-wise. I mean, we go at every team as hard as we can. We're practicing as hard as we can, and hopefully it'll be a great game. I'm really looking forward to it.
Tim, give us a little scouting report on your left tackle over there.
Well, Alex is a 2-year starter, really intelligent. I think last year he kind of felt his way out as a senior. He's been nothing short of spectacular. It's no real secret. I'm sure Lenape knows it, and I'm sure Hamilton knows it. We run left a lot, so he's a big reason why. And he's done a great job in the classroom, has a bright future ahead of him. So we're going to be excited to follow him over the next 4 years after he leaves Shawnee.
Tim, if you look at the history of Shawnee, it's been a who's who of offensive linemen. I think the toughest position to develop. What is it that makes your school able to continue to have great offensive lines?
Well, I think a couple things. One, we get great student athletes like Alex and the rest of his teammates. They're willing to put in the work to get better. And our offensive line coach, Tony Escudero, does a phenomenal job with them. And it just kind of feeds itself. The next group wants to match up and be like Alex and Lee and Anthony and Matt Soriano and Brett Hilgetag. So we have our scout team this year. I said to them in practice today, I go, hey, they're all graduating. You're starting in about a week. You got to be ready. And I'm sure they'll be up to the challenge, but Alex and his teammates have met every challenge, and it's not a surprise.
Alex, one of the things about Shawnee football is that the senior class always sets the tone. I'm sure when you were an underclassman, you kind of looked up to the seniors, followed in their footsteps. How important was it for you guys as seniors to kind of maintain the legacy of this program?
Well, it was definitely a challenge. There was definitely some pressure going on. It's like, hey, this is the big year, first 3P in school history. It could be us. So we just try to look at the seniors, our sophomore year and our junior year, and just try and emulate what they did, and it's worked out for us.
Coach, another impressive thing about your run the last 2 years, you had a freshman starting at quarterback. He's now a sophomore. Not always easy to have a young player like that guiding a quarterback and winning a sectional title. How about that?
Well, Matt's a special young man. I remember seeing him play when he was like in 6th grade. So a lot of what he's done, it's not a surprise. He's very unassuming, but he's zeroed in on what he knows he needs to do. And I think for a young guy, he has the respect of all the seniors, especially like his senior offensive lineman. And that makes for a special relationship. And he's calm as calm can be. I mean, he has a good effect on me, frankly, because I get a little wound up sometimes.
You do?
And Matt has a calming effect on everybody. But we're always telling our guys, look, the most important play is the next play. And he epitomizes that. He doesn't get flustered. Rarely do you see him get frustrated. And he's been in a lot of big games, and it's paid off. So he's ready for this type of competition.
And you've got some veteran backs, too, to help out as well.
Correct. Dalton sitting over here to my right, and Tommy Rebstock's back. We've had some good luck there with those guys. Jake Barnett's had a solid year, and that sure helps out.
Alex, great tradition at Shawnee of offensive linemen. You guys always seem to set the tone for the team. When Shawnee has a successful team, they usually have a good offensive line. How much pride do you guys take in that, and that you really are kind of the engine room of the whole team?
I mean, to break down practice, we say O-line pride, finish strong, so we take a lot of pride in what we do because, we don't score touchdowns, but we're the reasons why touchdowns can happen.
Well, Tim, Alex, we'd like to thank you. We're going to see you later on in the show, but We wish you great luck. It should be a heck of a game, Thanksgiving against Lenape, and then you've got to take on Hamilton in that regional championship. Best of luck.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate you having us on the set.
All right, Tim Gashu and Alex Pfeiffer here from Shawnee. When we come back, we'll be with their opponent, the Lenape Indians, when we return here at Chickie and Pete's on 1st and 10.
Shelter dogs aren't broken. They've simply experienced more life. If they were human, we would call them wise. They would be the ones with tales to tell and stories to write, the ones dealt a bad hand who responded with courage. Do not pity a shelter dog. Adopt one.
Say we've got grit, and we'll take it as a compliment. Because it's our uncommon drive, our spark within, that brings us together and sets us apart. We are temple made. And when others take shortcuts, when others take breaks, when others take the easy way, we take charge.
Add us on social media to watch bloopers, behind-the-scenes footage, previews, and more.
You're looking at a great crowd here at Chickie and Petes Marlton as we're broadcasting 1st and 10, and we have the teams from Shawnee and Lenape. Halski, the head coach, Connor Kennedy, the all-purpose guy, the receiver, lines up everywhere on the field. And Joe, first off, you played Williamstown as tough as anybody. You lose by 7 in the regular season, 14-10 in the sectional final. I know you're disappointed, but how about the effort of your guys?
You know, obviously extremely disappointed. It crushed our guys a little bit to lose the game the way we did, same kind of way we did in the first game. But when I watched that film Saturday night, it crushed me even more because I watched 11 guys at a time lay their hearts out on the field. I mean, they really played their hearts out. I couldn't ask them to do another thing better. So, you know, they did, and I love them for it.
Kennedy, when I see a Lenape game, I had to ask him, what position do you play? Because you line them outside, slot, you might even run the ball once in a while. How about the versatility of him?
He's super dynamic. Connor could literally line up any place on the field, line him with a quarterback, defensive end, whatever you do, he's going to do it at a high level. He's super dynamic. He's worked his tail off in the offseason. It's no surprise. The work this guy has put in, there's no surprise what he's done this season and the value he has for our football team. But super dynamic and very cerebral, can really comprehend anything we're trying to do schematically, and he executes at a high level.
And how excited are you about, going and continuing your football career and your academic career at a great school?
Oh yeah, so Lehigh, the academics firsthand were, they're off the charts. I want to study accounting, and their accounting program was one of the top in the country. So for that to be an opportunity that I can choose, that was definitely a huge part. And the football, they like to pass the ball, and that's something that in college I'm going for a receiver, and for them to pass 30 times a game, that's definitely something that's going to be huge for me.
Joe, I can't imagine the rivalry between Lenape and Shawnee. We know how great that is, but now you're both going for a piece of what we think's the best division in South Jersey, the West Jersey American. How much does that add to this Thanksgiving game?
I'll one up you there. I think it's the best public school division in the state. I think bar none. 5 out of 6 of us were playing meaningful football on Friday night, or this past weekend with St. Augustine playing in Saturday. I think it's great, what the Lenape football program has gotten itself to. Obviously, Shawnee has been phenomenal for years. But Tim McEnany had brought this program to new heights and given us an opportunity to be in this position where we're playing a meaningful football game in the best public school division in the state on Thursday against Shawnee. So I think it's an awesome opportunity for our guys to end the season 10-2. and have something to show for it of substance. You know, they can walk into a gym 5, 10, 15 years from now, see 2019 on a banner that says Division Champs and go, yeah, we did that. We were pretty darn good. You know, we were #1 in South Jersey for a couple weeks. They'll be able to look back on those memories with fondness and have something of substance that says, hey, we were good.
Connor, talk a little bit about, the opportunity you guys have this, Thursday. Disappointment of losing Williamstown, but here you have an opportunity to play an old rival in a traditional game and a division title on the line. That's got to be pretty exciting to finish your career with a game with that much meaning.
Yep, I mean, definitely it stinks to lose a game where we thought we could have had, but to get a number on that banner in our school, to know that this team can be recognized after a win this Thursday is something special.
Joe, Connor's one of the great seniors in the program, but your junior class is out of sight, and it's led by, I think, one of the most exciting and best players in South Jersey, in Xavier Coleman, another guy who you line up all over the place.
Yeah, so, we're obviously going to miss the talents of a guy to my left and some other guys that have really produced as seniors for our football team. But the future is bright at Lenape, and we have a great junior class with a lot of guys returning. Xavier Coleman, he's special. He's just a unique talent, possesses elite speed, but he's also got this toughness about him that you don't realize until you see him in person. You can line him up at running back, quarterback, slot. We line him up at nickel, safety, corner, and again, he has the cerebral ability to be able to line up and do those things and understand what we do as an offense and a defense in the return game. He's special, and he can strike thunder at any time.
And one of the, I guess, satisfying parts of your job, not only with him but other players, you're going to probably be very busy in the off season with college recruiters.
Last off season in the spring, in a 6-week period, we had 67 schools come through the door. Wow. When you're blessed with great players, they get blessed with opportunities after high school, and I think that's part of our role as high school coaches, is providing them the experience to get to the next level and to get those opportunities. So I think it's great. It's a good busy. It's a busy you want to be as a football coach, because when you see these guys get offers and the work they've put in to get that opportunity, it's awesome. Being able to see him after he got his first offer, I was ecstatic. I knew how happy he was, his family. It's great. It's awesome.
Connor, what about the development of the Lenape program? When you guys were younger, Lenape was still, not quite at the level it is now. You guys in 7th and 8th grade, the program really started taking off. And in your 4 years, you guys have really been one of the better programs in all of South Jersey. How much pride do you guys take in that, to know you're leaving? Lenape football is really regarded as one of the best programs in the state.
Oh, it's definitely something to have pride in. We worked hard for 4 years to just show off what we do, and to have trust in each other and trust in our program, trust in our coaches. It's definitely something special to show off and have pride in.
Joe, Phil just talked about the Lenape program. What kind of effect does this success have? A couple years ago, under Tim, sectional champions, in the sectional title this year. What does it have on the younger players who maybe have aspirations for wanting to play for Lenape?
Look, when you look at any successful program throughout South Jersey, there's lulls in talent, but sometimes you don't see the lulls in wins and losses, and there becomes a level of expectation that needs to be met at a program. We graduated a ton of talent last year, but we found ourselves in the semifinals because that's what's expected at Lenape now. Tim McEnany, again, took this program to new heights, and that's just something that we're trying to continue where he left off. This is a continuation of when he took over in 2011, and that was always the goal. It was always the goal to be one of the best programs in South Jersey. And, these seniors, they're graduating with 3 out of their 4 years we were in a sectional final. And I think there's something to be said for that. And that really starts with Tim McEnany.
Connor, I see you guys, Lenape guys interacting with Shawnee guys here. I know you guys played against a lot of those guys in youth football and all. Talk a little bit about the rivalry with Shawnee, what it's like for you guys, and how exciting it is to finish your career playing against, an arch rival.
Yep, there's so much history behind the two schools, Lenape and Shawnee. Off the field, we're town away, so all of us are good friends. We know each other, we hang out with each other, but on the field, it's always a good matchup between the two. And to end my career against Shawnee, that's definitely something to remember for a lifetime.
You know what's great, Coach? You and Shawnee want to beat each other's brains out, but the sportsmanship and the respect that you both have for each other, I mean, you can see it.
Oh, absolutely. I think the world of Tim Gushu as a man, as a football coach. He's certainly somebody I want to emulate. I think he has more wins than I have football games coached and played combined. So, you know, when you look at a program and you look at South Jersey football, you can't help but think of Shawnee football. So absolute mutual respect. I think the world of him. You know, when I got the job, I thought it was so cool. You know, one of the first texts I got was from Tim Gusher. I'm like, oh my goodness, Tim Gusher just texted me and wish me luck and congratulations. I think that's very great. He's a pioneer for football coaches. Yeah. He's a mentor for many coaches throughout the state. I think he's a great man, and you know, we have a lot of respect for Shawnee football.
Well, we'd like to thank you, Connor. Thank you, great job there. And when we come back, Mark Zimmaro will join us. There's a lot of South Jersey football games to talk about coming up, and we'll get right to them here from Chickie and Petes Marlton on 1st and 10.
Whether you're a gourmet cook or just want to eat like one, visit Rostelli Market Fresh, your home for the freshest, locally sourced ingredients to please everyone who loves great food. Our organic meats, quality seafood, and free-range poultry are cut fresh to order. Chefs create culinary-inspired prep foods made fresh every day, which pair nicely with our vast selection of fine wines and spirits. Choose from handmade pastas, artisan cheeses, organic produce, and grocery items, all from the finest purveyors. Rostelli Market Fresh, from our family to yours.
Shelter dogs aren't broken. They've simply experienced more life. If they were human, we would call them wise. They would be the ones with tales to tell and stories to write. The ones dealt a bad hand who responded with courage. Do not pity a shelter dog. Adopt one.
Say we've got grit, and we'll take it as a compliment. Because it's our uncommon drive, our spark within, that brings us together and sets us apart. We are temple made. And when others take shortcuts, when others take breaks, when others take the easy way, we take charge.
Add us on social media to watch bloopers, behind-the-scenes footage, previews, and more.
There's a good look at the Lenape Indians enjoying themselves here at Chickie and Petes Marlton as we have both Lenape and Shawnee as they get ready for their Thanksgiving matchup in a game that has championship implications. Welcome back to Chickie and Petes. Phil Anastasia, Marc Narducci, and Mark Zimmaro, who was in the audience before, is with us. Mark has covered both Lenape and Shawnee. Mark, we've got to get your impression on both teams.
Yeah, I actually saw both teams very recently. I covered Shawnee in the sectional championship game. They were wonderful. I caught Lenape the week before in the semifinals. So I guess we'll talk with Shawnee first because I happen to be wearing their colors. No coincidence. I mean, it was a little bit of a coincidence how it happened. I just don't pay attention to that. But anyhow, Shawnee looked great. I mean, they really just looked like they were the more prepared team, which you're often going to get with a Shawnee team. They're well coached. They execute their game plan beautifully. And that defense, I know I've been on this show before talking about how great their defense has been, and they showed up again, didn't allow a single point. So, Shawnee's really, after a couple little stumbles maybe throughout the season, they look like they're back on track and as strong as they were in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and Phil and I talked about this. They were helped by playing in the American Division where
definitely
every game was like with a major playoff team. How about Lenape now? The Indians gave Williamstown all they could handle in 2 games. but
Yeah.
now still have a chance to play for a championship. It's a very impressive team.
Yeah, I tell you what, I was just talking with one of the parents off camera, and I was covering the Shawnee game. I was paying attention to the Lenape game on my phone, and as I'm walking in my car, I see that they lose in the final seconds, and my heart dropped. And I have no connection to Lenape at all, but just from covering them, these kids really deserve the championship this year. They're again, same as Shawnee. They're a very well-coached team. Woj has them playing great. And, their defense is also well. I don't know if anybody's going to score in that Thanksgiving game. It might be a 2-0 game or something. But, Lenape, they just got a million weapons they can come at you with. And on defense, you had Connor Kennedy on earlier. What a great kid. He actually got a little banged up in the game I saw. So it's good to see him back and smiling again. But, if you're looking for me to pick a winner, I don't know what to tell you in this Thanksgiving Day game, because even though Shawnee has a little bit more to look forward to, I don't think they're going to pull any punches. I think this rivalry means that much that they're going for it.
Yeah, both teams for a championship. Let's move over to the Inquirer Top 10, and Phil, you're the guy that puts this together, and this was not an easy Top 10 to do.
This might have been the toughest pick for number one that I remember, Mark. It really was a tricky call between Williamstown and St. Augustine Prep. I went with Williamstown. I thought they've had a better overall season than St. Augustine Prep. They were 2 or 3-0 against Shawnee and Lenape, where St. Augustine Prep was 0-2 against Shawnee and Lenape. And Prep's third in its division, will finish third in the division, which really is the reason I lean towards Williamstown. Even though the Prep beat them on the field, and really probably has been playing about as well as anybody the second half of the season. So this was a tough call. I think the Williamstown people liked it.
Hey, how about St. Joseph third? And they had a guy that scored a few touchdowns the other day, huh?
Jada Byers with a state record 10 touchdowns, Mark, and a 76-22 win over Morris Catholic. Talked to Jada after the game. He said he wanted 10 because he wanted to dedicate the performance to 10-year-old Micah Tennant, who had died on the Wednesday before that. Really a tremendous gesture by Jada. He wore a T-shirt underneath his uniform that said, "As long as I'm walking and alive, Micah will be too," with Micah's picture. So it was a tremendous individual performance, but it had a little extra meaning as well.
And Penns Grove with the longest winning streak, current winning streak at 24 games, is number 5. And Mark, Willingboro, a team you've seen, and a team that I thought was going to have a close game with Salem. They won going away. This is a very good Chimeras team.
Yeah, they had their hiccup the week before against Buna. It was a little tighter game than we might have thought it was going to be. And then, they showed how explosive they can be. Chris Long and Aushawn Davis, those two just have such a great connection. They've been playing together since they were little kids. So, you see the chemistry out on the field. They got a big line. Willingboro, they were up at MetLife Stadium last year against Penns Grove, and they know what they're up against. They've been looking forward to getting their rematch against those guys again. So, you got to hand it to them. They were on a mission this year, and they're there.
Hey, Phil, at number 7, you have Woodrow Wilson. That's a team capable of putting up 50 any game, right?
I'll say, Mark, they did it in the sectional final against Somerville. You have a tremendous sophomore quarterback in Devin Cartman, who is Nick Cartman's younger brother, and some great receivers, Malik Harvey and obviously Fidel Diggs, the Texas A&M recruit. So, and Mahim McCargo, Temple recruit, tremendous all-around player for them. So, one of the most explosive, if not the most explosive offenses in all of South Jersey.
Yeah, and then you have Shawnee 8 and Hamilton 9. And how about it, Mark? Those two are meeting in the regional bowl game.
Yeah, funny how that works out.
Yeah.
This is it's not your traditional rivalry, not division opponents or anything like that. But these teams know each other well. They know the history that they seem to butt heads in the playoffs quite a bit. And, the games I've seen where these two matched up, it was really physical. Expect a physical game.
Yeah, Phil, you have West Deptford 10. They lost to an excellent Hillside team. They had the lead early on. Hillside had beaten Haddonfield 35-0. that's a very good team. West Deptford, a fine season.
Excellent season under Jason Morrell.
Yeah.
I saw that Hillside team last year when Haddonfield, which had one of the best teams in program history, really battled them toe-to-toe up at MetLife Stadium, and a lot of those Hillside kids were back. So that was a tough game for West Deptford. They're up 10-0 entering the fourth quarter. Kind of let it get away a little bit, but I can't take away from what a great season it was for the Eagles.
Yeah. Hey, Mark, you know, we talked about Shawnee, Lenape, Willingboro in the rankings. Cherokee wins a sectional title. What's it say about the talent in Burlington County?
Well, there's a lot of it. I mean, every year they always seem to have maybe a sectional champion, maybe two. This year they had three, and you know there were a lot more that are right on that verge of breaking through. And you know, look at the year Seneca had this year in that same school district as all these guys. I know Bill Fisher put out a tweet this week, you know, sad that he wasn't there, but rooting on the rest of the guys and saying, you know, hey, we're getting there, we're almost there. So I mean. Yeah, the talent just in that condensed area is amazing.
And we'll stretch it out a little bit, Phil. How about the talent in South Jersey? South Jersey teams came out ahead in a lot of these sectional titles where they were paired with Central.
Well, this was the first year they did where there was 16 in the South, and then they kind of snaked the two tournaments from there. And certainly South Jersey showed very well. Hamilton beat three sure teams to win the Central 4 title. Cherokee wins the Central 5 title, so certainly a good year for South Jersey football.
Mark, it's been a great year. Are you in any more games? Do you have any more games you'll be covering?
I will be covering Florence and Riverside on Thanksgiving Day.
Long-time rivalry.
Yeah. You know, it was a little bit of a disappointing season for Florence, actually. You know, they're used to being in the playoffs every year. They didn't make it. They fell just short on the bubble. They're going to be looking to take it out on somebody. Unfortunately, that might be Riverside. But yeah, Riverside might keep this close, though. I mean, they're sort of an up-and-coming program with Dominic Cesaria as their coach. He's done a nice job finally giving that program some stabilization. So, you know, a good old rivalry there. It should be a fun game to cover.
Hey, as you see, we're being surrounded by some pretty big football players here. And when we return on 1st and 10, we'll have one last conversation with the teams from Shawnee and Lenape, right here from Chickie and Petes.
Handmade pastas, artisan cheeses, organic produce, and grocery items, all from the finest purveyors. Rastelli Market Fresh, from our family to yours.
Shelter dogs aren't broken. They've simply experienced more life. If they were human, we would call them wise. They would be the ones with tales to tell and stories to write. The ones dealt a bad hand who responded with courage. Do not pity a shelter dog. Adopt one.
Say we've got grit, and we'll take it as a compliment. Because it's our uncommon drive, our spark within, that brings us together and sets us apart. We are temple made. And when others take shortcuts, when others take breaks, when others take the easy way, we take charge.
Welcome back to Chickie and Pete's. Enthusiastic crowd, Shawnee, Lenape, getting ready to meet Thanksgiving. One of our players, Clyde Washington of Lenape, he's headed to Purdue. He's going to be playing in the Big Ten. What made you choose there?
When I arrived there, it was a big opportunity when I went to the camp, and it was a really good experience. And then I always mention my legacy of my grandfather always went there. So like the energy there, it was the best time of my life when I went.
Hey, one other thing, you're playing Shawnee, your final high school game, championship on the line. Does it get any better than that?
And it can't get any better. I'm just ready to go out, and my whole team's ready. We're just ready to compete and just have fun the rest of the way.
Well, they plan to have fun.
Tim, you have personally been involved in a lot of Thanksgiving Day games. That means you've been around for a while. But for the first time last year, you know, you had a sectional title under your belt. Then you have a Thanksgiving game. Then you had a bowl game. This year, your sectional title under your belt. big Thanksgiving game and then a regional championship game. What is that like for you, your players, to have these 3 huge games right in a row?
Well, I mean, it's extremely exciting. The challenge is great. Lenape's a great program. We have a lot of respect for everything they've done. They've had a heck of a season themselves. And Thursday, it's for a conference championship, so makes it even more exciting. And the opportunities there, made the best team win.
Joe Wojciechowski, the head coach of Lenape. Joe, you're meeting a Shawnee team. I know you've been looking at film. What do you see there on the Renegades?
You know, they're obviously very large up front. They're one of the bigger offensive lines, defensive lines that we've seen all year. They have a super dynamic sophomore quarterback that's capable of making a big play at any moment, and he's got some targets that he can get the football to. They got a little bit of running back by committee that get the job done. It really doesn't matter what number's really there. They're moving the pile. They're making things happen in between the tackles, outside the tackles. So very dynamic football team, very well-coached football team. You can just tell they're well-coached, disciplined. They do their job. They focus on the task at hand.
Tim, you know, the state playoff system obviously is the most important thing for most programs. It has taken away from some Thanksgiving games for a lot of teams. It seems like this Thanksgiving game still has a lot of meaning for both programs.
There's no question. And, you know, little sideline, my freshman year in high school, 1968, I was a Lenape Indian. All right. John Maskus was the head coach at Lenape High School. Bob Gary, a longtime chemistry teacher, was our freshman head coach. So, you know, I was part of the Lenape family. And then Shawnee was created, and so that makes it even more exciting. And I played in the very first Lenape Shawnee game in 1970, and I've been around long enough to coach in a whole bunch of them. So it is a special tradition, and hey, it's a great opportunity.
What? It's Thanksgiving, and there's all the pageantry and all that. It's a great rivalry and everything, but the chance to play for a championship. What does that mean to you and the team?
You know, it's another motivation in this football game. Obviously, it's a big rivalry. It's a game we always want to win, especially being our last game, sending our seniors off the right way. But, you know, you want to win a division champ. At the beginning of the season, you set team goals, and winning your division is always one of those goals. And to do it in this game, you know, it is a lofty task, no easy task, but certainly a rewarding task. And that's the goal at hand.
Tim, you know, there's some coaches that have another game after Thanksgiving, or especially a playoff game, might hold some kids out or you know, limit the exposure of some of your top players. Doesn't sound like you're approaching that game that way at all.
No, not at all. I mean, take a look at this coming weekend. You have Auburn, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, and you got Lenape, Shawnee. That's all I need to say.
Well, that's good company there. Lenape, Shawnee. Hey, we'd like to thank everybody here. An enthusiastic crowd. We all thank our friends at Chickie and Petes for having both of these teams, and we hope that everyone has just a great experience in this Thanksgiving Day. So for Phil Anastasia, Marc Narducci saying thanks for watching. Enjoy a game on Thanksgiving and this weekend, and we'll see you next time on First and 10.
Great experience that you'll be sharing with everyone you know while increasing your personal and company's brand awareness. But what is your brand? According to Forbes, it's a combination of your logo,